Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome to my Advent Calendar, Day 8. For those of you that are just arriving here, my name is Sadhana. Hello, welcome. I am an intuitive reader, healer, and this is my offering for this holiday season. So welcome, blessings to all of you. And today I am going to start with an inspirational message, as I have each day. Today I'm going to use the Future Ancestor Tarot. Beautiful deck. And on this 8th day of December 2023, may this message inspire, may it bring you a sense of comfort, peace, and inner knowing. As always, we ask these messages be in the highest for the greatest good, and that no harm be done. So be it. How are you all doing? I really enjoyed your extensive comments. It's been a blessing. And for those of you that aren't aware, I am doing a giveaway on the 24th of December. And all you need to do to be in the draw for the giveaway is to make a comment. And you can go back and comment on each of the previous days. And then you will have, including today, eight slips of paper into the draw. Okay. Lovely. Ooh, that's okay. I'm going to just go ahead. There's one card that's stuck on the bottom, but we're going to, we got the High Priestess today. Okay. What is she offering? So beautiful. Okay. You know, I can't emphasize enough the beauty and the sacredness and the honoring of yourself in having little rituals. And I would wish that this isn't something you have to hide away, but there's lots of ways that we can keep this private and be really true and, you know, nourish our heart and nourish our soul with these little practices. There can be ways to do this that is really inviting and can welcome in other friends and family members. And I've talked some time to time about my little altar by my front door. It's very accessible. There's nothing too esoteric on it. But I do have oracle cards there, a little tiny oracle deck, and I change it from time to time. And I'm surprised sometimes, you know, at the people that actually pause and draw a card. I want to invite others into the beauty of ritual, the beauty of pausing and reflecting. It's so very important. And I love this card. I love the way that she is in communion with the moon. Oh, this card came up yesterday in another reading. Curious about what this deck, that this card didn't jump out, but it was sitting on, when I cut the cards, it didn't stick to the other cards, so it was there. So let's go with these three cards today. So 2 candle cards, 2 fire cards, 1 moon card, 1 water card, 4 and a 10. You know, sometimes it feels like we have a lot of candles in the air. We're juggling a lot of things. I know this time of year can be very stressful for a lot of people. And sometimes with this card, I think there is a message. We do need to see things to completion. But what I was sensing in the High Priestess card, I think, is really important, and that There is always time for the sacred. Always. We just need to find a place. And I know some of you have little boxes, just a tiny little box that you can open. There's a lighter in it, there's a candle, there's a little deck of cards. And whenever you have a moment, you just find this little place and you have this beautiful ceremony that may take all of 2 minutes, but it makes all the difference in the day to finding a sense of connection with something bigger, something greater. Fours to me have always been sacred space, whether it's a Four of Swords, a Four of Wands, Four of Cups. There's something very sacred in that space. And, the more I have expanded my repertoire as a reader, understanding that on the tree of life, the fours are connected to Jupiter, and then going back to the Jupiter connection to the guru through my yoga lineage. Fours, I really cherish the fours in readings, and I can see that Four of Fire almost as if it's surrounding the High Priestess. And so I see this as a message of slow down, find the sacred in a moment. May not even be, I want to mention one other thing, may not even be an altar that you create, but just a moment. I have a lot of forest walks where I live, and one of my daughters, all my daughters are beautiful souls. One of them is so deeply spiritual, so deeply feels every pulse on this planet. And many, many places in our pathways, she has created altars. And sometimes she'll put crystals there. Sometimes she'll put a homemade dream catcher, hang some shells that we've picked up at the beach, arrange some rocks, tidy up the wood, just sort of tidy up this little area. And do you know, I have had neighbors comment on this beautiful thing they have found on a walkway, or I've seen, I've visited the altar myself, and I've seen other people tidy it up and leave things. It really, really is special. You would be surprised how much people need these kinds of practices. So, yeah, I think that's a beautiful, beautiful message and invitation for today. So, yeah, good morning. Grand rising to you, KC, warrior girl, and Marie and Clevis, Emilia, namaste. Okay. All right, shall we go on? Let's go to my favorite things. I think today I'm going to start with my favorite things that, so let me put this in my card stand. My favorite things that are not tarot. I have a fun thing as well too that is tarot. And one of my favorite things is the beautiful offerings I receive from you. And I have a few of them on the table. Sarah. So Sarah is an artist. She's a student of mine, and Sarah has sent me from time to time some of her original artwork. She sends me cards, and it's just, do I have another one here? Here's another one. She gets some of her cards printed. It's really, really touching. This is an original that was made for me. This is from Chiara and Chiara Ray. I just find it so I'm so humbled. I'm so humbled when you send me something that you have made. Lena Many of you have seen Lena on chats and in my Facebook group. She sent me this beautiful wrap. I'm sure many of you know that I love wraps and I often wear things around my shoulders, and she sent me this beautiful, beautiful wrap, in colors that I wear all the time. So yeah, one of my favorite things I just cherish are the beautiful handmade gifts that you send. Oh, and I have one more right here. This beautiful knit tarot pouch was made by Isabel. And Isabel used to attend one of my online yoga classes, and she sent me the deck that's inside as well too. But it's the handmade things that are so beautiful and so very, very cherished. So thank you to all of you. And if I didn't, it's really overwhelming, and it's so greatly, greatly appreciated. So thank you. All right. So my tarot favorite thing, which is kind of fun, and I want to ask you this question. How many different languages do you have tarot decks in? And so my category today is favorite foreign language deck. And very quickly this morning I grabbed, okay, so there's Chinese characters on this one. So there's Chinese and Spanish and German and Galatian and Russian and Italian and Czech, and lots of them in French, French. And I was trying to think if I don't think I have a Japanese tarot deck, which really surprises me because of me speaking Japanese. But when I was living in Japan, I wasn't doing this sort of thing, so it would make sense that I wouldn't have even looked for them or collected them. But if I ever go back to Japan, I will definitely get a Japanese tarot deck. So do I have a favorite of all of these? Oh my God, like really? No. I think it's kind of cool to have a Russian tarot deck. I mean, for me, that's not a language I hear very often. Let's just look at this one. I want to say that I find it's fun. It's so much fun to read a tarot deck in a different language. And if you, and actually, this one, which is the Victorian Fairy Tarot, is often the productions are, and these are all legitimate ones. They're not, what do you call them? These are legitimate productions, authorized productions. In other languages, they're not fake, counterfeit or whatever. The coloring and the cardstock is often different. I have the Japanese poetry deck, but it's the cards. I don't think the cards are in Japanese. Yeah. And the creator's not even Japanese. The creator is Ukrainian, right? In that deck, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I think this is really fun. And actually, I haven't had the Victorian Fairy Tarot out on my desk for a long time. And this is a wonderful deck to have out for winter because the seasons in this deck are clearly delineated. And so perhaps, yeah, maybe I'll keep this one out for fun. Yeah. Okay, so those are a couple of my favorite things. And lastly, today, what is my tarot tip of the day? Well, my tarot tip of the day, let's go back to, let me get a Waite Smith deck for you. Okay. Now, this might sound challenging. Okay. My challenge here is, and I'm going to, should I talk about this now? My tarot tip of the day is to read facings the opposite way that you usually read them. So what I mean by this is, and there is a reason for this, if usually when cards are moving to the right, you read that as forward movement, future movement, if you work with past, present, and future, then I encourage you to think about these cards as looking towards, if you normally look at the cards that are going this way as to the past, then look at them as to the future. If you, I can't even think now which way people normally do this. If you have a card that goes to the right, and you would normally think of this about going ahead and going forward, then read this as looking into the past, reflecting into my history. Now, I want to explain why and how this has evolved. A long time ago, I was having a discussion with another reader. This was a big metaphysical store, and we had multiple reading rooms. And I was sharing a reading that I had just finished. And I came out and I was showing the cards to a fellow reader. And they started reading the cards. And because everything was facing in one direction, it was to the right. I had been reading that to the ahead, to the future. And this particular reader read it the opposite way, that this was looking into the past and this was reflection. And so I want to invite you just to pause and think about this, because there are different reasons for reading rights and lefts as past and future. I think normally, like with contemporary decks, so if I was reading also, I think it's important to know the education, the background, the tarot history of the deck creator. Sometimes that is important, and it also, if you can look into that, that can help to inform this. In this particular card, this one, what is this card? The Chariot. The Chariot is going to the left. And usually, like in a Waite-Smith deck, the Chariot is going towards you, going towards the querent, right? I love contemplating this. In reading Hebrew, which is the foundation of the Tree of Life, the history of the Waite-Smith Tarot, the history of the Crowley Tarot, the Tetragrammaton, the Hebrew letters are read from right to left. And it would make sense that reading from right to left is forward motion. However, in English, we read from left to right. And so the tendency is to read when you're going to the right to the future and to the left to the past, or looking back, looking ahead. Choose your vocabulary, whatever works for you. And so I have found that this has been really insightful. And then, somebody's going to ask, well, how do you know with any deck or any given day if you're going to read left is past or left is future? Well, it's not so much about past and future. I'm looking for cards that are moving in the same direction, and I can get a sense of whether I am reflecting or whether I am, so reflecting, I'm thinking of looking into that which I've already experienced, that I'm aware that I've experienced, as to something which is new and unknown. So I'm just sort of throwing this out there because if you aren't aware of this and you don't have a sensitivity to this, I think you can miss out on a lot. I really do. It's good, like this idea with foreign languages and foreign language decks and being aware of the way that a certain language is written. Like in Japanese, if you're reading a Japanese magazine, you're reading from the back of the book to the front of the book, and also from top to bottom and right to left, which is so cool and so interesting. I think it's important as a reader of English that we don't get too stuck in our ways and we are aware of cycles of time and different directions and different perspectives. Okay, so be a little bit flexible with your rights and your lefts and your ups and your downs. And I would say particularly if you're queerant. And I want to say welcome to Tarot with G. Hello, hello. I haven't seen you on my channel before, so welcome to you. Yeah. And good morning, Laura, Clevis. I'm not sure if I missed anybody else. Thank you all for being here. So yeah, so be aware of the language and the way that your querent reads, because that might also give you a clue. Okay? Flexibility is good. Thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you tomorrow for day 9. Namaste.